The countdown to November 8th continues. That's right, Election Day is coming up. Welcome back. Local Decision 2022 here on North Metro TV. I'm Eric Nelson, and joining us now in studio, Ken Wendling, currently on the Spring Lake Park City Council. You've already had 2 terms. You're running for a 3rd. Thanks for stopping by, Ken. And so you still have that bug to stay on the council, don't you?
Yes, I do. It's lived in Spring Lake Park since 1959. I'm in the family's home. Dad passed away in 2001, and I purchased a house for my siblings, and I just have a great love for Spring Lake Park. I've been civically active, participated in Tower Days and other events, so I want to continue helping Spring Lake Park and moving it forward into the future.
Wow, so you go back to 1959. You've seen Spring Lake Park morph into something probably much different than back then, right?
I don't know what the population was back in '59, but we had a lot of sand dunes, scrub oak trees, and other various types of trees. It was a pretty open area. 81st Avenue did not, it stopped at Abel Street, did not go to Highway 65 like it does now. So it's changed a lot. We are a very diverse community now. Compared to back then. But no, it's a fine little city. It's a residential city. People used to call it Mayberry, but I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But no, we have the same problems that other cities have. Crime, we'll talk about that later on. But no, it's a wonderful city. I want my residents and my fellow residents in Spring Lake Park to have a good life.
What are the positives about Spring Lake Park in your eyes?
It is a small community, is the nice thing about it. Our streets are plowed almost instantaneously. Public Works does a fine job. Our police department is a hell of a good police department. You call 911, they're there very, very rapidly. You know, well underneath 12 minutes. The only holdup they have is crossing Highway 65. But no, it's a positive little city. It's growing yet. We can't can't develop large areas because we only have a small amount of areas that's left. Redevelopment is very important in my mind. I think that's where we should go. Also, you're watching how we do it, you know, keeping it in the interest of the citizens of Spring Lake Park.
All right, you brought it up. It was going to come up anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Minnesota State Highway 65. So we'll make that segue now.
Okay.
Obviously, at some point, it will become a much better highway and transit will flow smoother. But how does it hurt Spring Lake Park right now, the way things are?
Right now, we're on the south end of the kerfuffle that they have on Highway 65. We get loaded up from 694 going north and south, and the problems start after 85th Avenue, County Road J. Then they have so many stoplights, they have so many businesses. Blaine has grown tremendously in the last 30 years. I mean, it used to be sod fields, pig farms, dairy farms, junkyards, auto parts yards. So we're just on the bottom end of it. So it just starts buffering up to where it slows down. We put in Hy-V. There was concerns about it changing the traffic pattern, but it hasn't. Hy-V was kind enough to follow the MnDOT's rules and give us the 2 turn lanes. The intersection's a great intersection, except for the traffic lights. Well, University Avenue also. MnDOT wants arterial flow north and south, so they give shorter times over how long you can sit at the light or go through the light. I'm all for something happening north of Spring Lake Park and Blaine up to Ham Lake and Isani and East Bethel and such like that, because those are going to be big growing communities as time goes on. Industries going out there. Schools who go out there, so there's a lot of changes coming up there, and they have to go between purchasing land to expand. At one time they had like 8 different scenarios what they could go with. How that's working down, I don't know, because that's going to be up to the engineers and how much Blaine and these communities can get along with those engineers, because they're the ones who make the decisions.
Proximity to downtown Minneapolis and to Blaine, so south and north you have places that are destination spots. How does Spring Lake Park become more than a drive-through city for people on their way to Blaine or the Twin Cities?
That's development. We have Hy-Vee in there. We have some spaces that can be redeveloped. People want to redevelop, and we have to find a good fit to go into those spots. There's maybe about 4 or 5 that could be changed into something. Nice restaurants. We're close to Unity Hospital. We did buy or get land from Unity Hospital a board at 525 Osborne Road, and we turned down several things that wanted to go in there, but we wanted something that would fit. And now we have a senior memory loss hospital or a clinic with 32 patients, which is a good fit. Luckily, it pays revenue, since we don't have a lot of, we do have a lot of industry, but not big industry such as Blaine does. Fridley is, awash, unfortunately, with good industries. So no, it's we have to just find good fits to fit in Spring Lake Park. Like I said before, I don't know what the population was in 1959, but now we're over 7,000 people with the last census. We have to keep those residents happy with how the city is, and I think we'll always be a bedroom community, but we do have to, develop properly where we have something that will make it a destination, such as Hy-Vee. They're constantly busy. We do have some great industries on Old Central or Central Avenue now that are additive to Spring Lake Park, to revenue and having employees come to our city.
Do you feel like you got Hy-Vee just in time in the sense that Hy-Vee not going to Blaine, not going to Maple Grove and some other cities, but they're already in Spring Lake Park, and you got them?
Yeah, we lucked out. It took a long time, almost 5 years from yes, we're going to purchase the land to yes, we're going to build, yes, we're completed. It's a good add to Spring Lake Park. Like I said, it's got a good draw. I was there the other night and I met SBM's fire chief and a school board member there, and we sat there and conversed for 10, 15 minutes. So no, it's a good place to make connections. Spring Lake Park Police Department has coffee with a cop there now and then. It's a good thing to attend. Spring Lake Park residents, please attend and meet our officers, and 9 times out of 10, you'll have almost all of the Spring Lake Park Council there also.
So a helpful smile in every aisle.
Oh, heavens! We'll put that on Hy-Vee's ad.
Exactly, a free plug. You're on the record also, Ken, is saying that you want to improve and maintain the infrastructure of Spring Lake Park through Public Works and Park and Rec. Can you expound on that?
Right now, we'll go with Public Works on lining our sewer pipes, maintaining our street where we've completed. We have one more street to complete with San Bernal, which we share with Blaine. But our streets are paved well, they're maintained well. We do have a program that's set up every 7 years, I think it is, that we actually seal coat and all the roads, but we also like, tearing up the old pavement, putting in new pavement. We're trying to not have our roads re-tore up again for sewer pipes, so that's why we're relining. Going to Park and Rec, since we are a small city, we're trying to keep our parks up to date with ADA. Our shelters are, oh heavens, 30 years old. And so we're going to be doing Able Street shelter, making it more ADA appliance, make it larger so it can have more events there for Park and Rec, for the kids, for adults. And so that's one thing. And now we're looking at revamping, remodeling City Hall. and we got to figure out how to pay for it and not hurt our residents. When it was built, 76, I think it was, we used a federal grant, which was really nice. It's a cookie sheet city hall building that was built in many other cities around the nation. And right now, it doesn't have enough bathrooms. It's kind of jury-rigged is how it's put together. We'd like to make it to where you have enough bathrooms for staff, the residents, the police department, Park and Rec. Park and Rec is doing a heck of a good job. I'm a liaison to there before on council. I was a Park and Rec commissioner. So it's important to have things for our residents to do.
Now, you talked about the diversity now in Spring Lake Park. The demographics clearly have changed.
Oh, yes.
How do you make sure that every resident feels welcome?
Well, one, we're a very welcoming city. Our newsletters, our bulletin board, the ability to send out communities to everybody in Spring Lake Park is how we want to get feedback. Council members are always open to hear people say good things, bad things about the city, and we rely on their feedback.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you get a lot of it. Have you heard certain things on the campaign trail as you knock on doors and do the meet and greets? What are they saying?
They're happy to see me, for one thing. Not much. I mean, we have the same concern with people driving over anxiously, speeding through our city. That's not just Spring Lake Park, that's, I would imagine, nationwide. Crime, we do have crime. Our police officers are on the spot when a person calls 911, please call 911. Anytime you see anything suspicious or just out of place. The residents have to stay active with us also, because we don't run it as our little fiefdom, we run it with the input of the residents.
When you go out and look at the city now and you see Hy-Vee and some of the positives, I'm sure you smile, but what are some of the things that you feel like, okay, we've got to fix this?
Whoa, that's a tough one. How do you? We have standards, as all communities do. Whether it's somebody wants to put something up in the building, we have to take a good look at it. Planning and zoning takes, it's just called planning now. They look at the situation. They make recommendations to the council. Council looks at what an entity wants to do, a business, individual. We want to keep it not a cookie cutter community, but a community that looks good. You feel good when you drive down the street. We do have people walking around the city picking up paper and garbage, and litter off the streets. I'm one. I keep my storm sewer drains clean, so does many other people in Spring Lake Park. People in the city have to stay involved with the city. It's just they don't come home, go to sleep, and go to work the next day. And many people are, and I hope they continue.
Northtown is in Blaine, but Spring Lake Park is right on the periphery. So what happens there will have a domino effect in your city. What would you like to see happen at Northtown?
Oh hell. They came up with 12 different ideas, what they wanted to do with Northtown. At one time, MTC and the mall wanted the transit hub to go closer to Cub, and we were against that because they're going to close up one road and make it inaccessible to Spring Lake Park. Then they said, okay, we're not going to do that, and then after a year or so, they decided we're going to go to the west end, which was an excellent idea because traffic to that transit hub comes from all directions of the compass. It comes down University Avenue, it comes from Highway 10 both directions, it comes from Fridley, Coon Rapids areas on Springbrook Drive. So that was a good fit. How they're going to do in Northtown is unknown to me because of the fact that The plans had everything from uncovering Springbrook Creek, which what they call a creek was just a little, not even a stream, just a trickle of water
yeah.
going through a pasture. They were talking about apartments. They were talking about keeping a shopping mall there and other outlying areas. And they were talking about also taking out North Court Commons, which is just across Jefferson Street. So they got big plans. It's going to take 30 years to do, 10 years to do. I don't know. So all we can do is watch and have a small amount of input.
Sure.
As we did now.
Yeah. Well, Ken, thanks for stopping by. Good luck on the campaign trail.
Well, thank you.
All right, very good. Ken Wendling, he's on the Spring Lake Park City Council and he's running again. This is Local Decision 2022.